Welcome to Positive Filter with your host, Philip Wilkerson, a podcast that focuses on friends, family, health, and career with a little self-help around the way. Please join me in this journey for self-improvement, and I hope that what I have to share will make you a better person, thus making the world a better place. Hey, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, it's Philip Wilkerson, a.k.a. Ill Phil, a.k.a. Positive Filter, a.k.a. Don Lemon, a.k.a. I got Austin, Texas tattooed on my leg, and I'm back with another episode of Positive Filter. Actually, I always say every episode is a very special episode. I have a very special guest, but this is an exceptionally special guest for me because this is my good friend, Justin Bell. He's on the podcast, and if you know me, you know I'm a very assertive, bothersome friend. I think when I even started the podcast about 2.5 years ago, I said, Justin, I'm gonna get you on the podcast. And he said, yeah. And I think I bothered you about like once every 3 months. And he lives in California, so it's really hard to coordinate, but he's in town. And I was like, I don't care. You're on it. I had to get you on. One, because you're one of my good friends. And two, I think I look up to you in regards to this topic that we're about to do. But for the listeners, please introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody out there. I'm Justin Bell, a.k.a. J Bell, that dude. I used to throw 58 on there. Everybody keeps their high school or college number.
I got one for you, too.
What's that?
A.k.a. Almanize.
Oh, it was Almanize 55. Yeah, that's throwback to AOL Instant Messenger.
That was his R&B name too. He had a bunch of hits.
I didn't make that up. It was given to me.
And so, Justin, if you've been a listener to the podcast, I grew up in this area. Went to Mount Vernon. I had a very, very significant class in the 10th grade, Holberg's class, which changed my life, honestly, because it was the class where I met my lifetime friends. Hillard, who's been on the podcast multiple times, Justin, Charles, I can just go down the list, Ernest, Calvin. It was an all-black male leadership class, and for me, it was just a great opportunity to meet people, and I don't know, I even talked to Holberg. He didn't realize how special that class was in the 10th grade, but we all bonded on it. So maybe for the listeners, say a little bit of background, but maybe to switch it up. What was your first impression of me when we first met back in the 10th grade?
Phil was kind of you were kind of all over the place, but you were fun. Definitely never met anybody like you. I was also blending back in with my friends that I went to elementary school with because I went to a different middle school. So when I got back to high school, I still knew a few people, but I had this new group of friends that I intermingle with because my old friends from elementary school had become friends with some of Phil's friends, and that's how I became friends with Phil.
And even to show the small worldness, Justin knew my wife before I knew my wife from middle school, so that shows all the connections. So we can accelerate. We're going to accelerate really fast in your life. Hit the fast forward button. This podcast is about you being a father. I would tell all the listeners 100% that you're one of the dads I look up to, especially peer dads, meaning we're kind of in the same boat with young children and making it work. But before we get to your journey as a father, let's just accelerate from high school when we met to being a dad, just a condensed version of your life up until Jax.
From high school, I went to school out at Boston College, got away from home a little bit, played football there, met my wife there as well. She was actually my RA.
Oh, I did not know that.
Funny story. Yes. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So college happened. Mm-hmm. We were together. We left. We actually stayed in Boston for like a few months after I graduated. She was a year older than me. Mm-hmm. After I graduated, we moved to Virginia. Mm-hmm. And then I started working at this school for kids with special needs ended up working with a lot of my friends. Phil ended up working there too.
Yes.
I'm sure he's talked about it in the podcast
Yes.
before.
Yes.
So from there, what happened? Oh, my wife, she got interested in
Nursing, right?
What?
Yo, y'all went to Cali first before the nursing?
Yeah, we did.
You went to Cali for a business job.
We
right?
just wanted to
Yes.
do something new. So
yes.
we both quit our jobs in Virginia and moved out to LA on a whim. Found an apartment. We both found jobs within probably a month.
Yeah, it was hard the way you did it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy, but it did happen, and yeah.
And then accelerated. Then she got interested in nursing
Right.
and took off there. Really took off.
I was still doing the behavior therapy stuff, mostly kids with autism. Wife was interested in nursing, decided to go apply to Johns Hopkins.
Yeah.
We ended up coming back to the East Coast.
Yeah.
We were in Baltimore. Actually, Jax happened. I forgot about my son.
Yes. No, he happened. Did he happen in Baltimore?
Huh? He happened before Baltimore.
That's right.
He was
Cali.
3 months old when we moved to Baltimore.
That's right. Got it. Yeah.
So there was that.
There you go. Jax is here.
Jax is here.
That was a really good condensed
I
story.
almost missed him.
We doing a podcast on fatherhood. We almost
Right.
So as and I'm a detail. I think the episode I'm gonna really just already called is All Star Dads, and the reason why I call it All Star Dads is because you're an All Star Dad to me, and I think one of the things I felt was so remarkable about you as a father early on is that I don't know. It's just like when you look at you on the surface, I knew from without a shadow of a doubt that you was gonna be a good dad, like involved, and I think it was because of all that experience with the kids with special needs, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I would say for myself, when I worked with kids with special needs, the fact that I'm already knowing milestones and hitting milestones, I'm like, yo, my kid's a genius.
Exactly.
And but it also taught me a lot of other lessons like patience, like at least they're not beating me up and biting me and kicking me, my children, you know what I'm saying? So I've learned that experience. So can you like already explain how working at APTS such as myself has been beneficial to you as a father?
Let's see. I mean, oh man, where did I start?
Yeah.
It's just so many skills that I learned to work with kids when they're having a behavior that might not be a positive behavior that you want to continue seeing. Different skills like for example, when my son was born, babies cry, but there comes a point where you just gotta let them cry. And a lot of parents are afraid to do that. I mean, you can do what you like; it's your child. But my wife was afraid to let him cry at first. But then I told her about how it works and dealing with behaviors in my jobs. So she kind of let me take control with that, and she was on board, and it worked.
Yeah.
There's a lot of skills like that work.
Yeah, it was like basically I've learned early from APTS that behaviors that like what we call behavior modification in the very simplest form. It was like, yo, all that patience and stuff, like you let someone get an inch, they're gonna take a mile or whatever. It was almost like you set standards, and I was learning that from, by my side, all that stuff. And it was crazy. You ever noticed, like, one time I'm walking across the street, you saw that earlier today, I'm like, baby, hold my hand, by my side. And all that stuff is coming back. So I think that job prepared me.
Definitely.
What other intangibles? You spoke upon behaviors. What about patience? Because you look like you're cool as a cucumber.
I am, for the most part. Yeah, definitely with kids. I mean, I joke all the time. People are like, "Oh, you're so patient with kids. I don't know how you do it." Like, I'm just impatient with adults. No, I mean, it's funny, but like, I mean, sometimes I'm impatient with adults, but like, I'm always patient with kids, no matter what, because I've seen kids that need it the most, and I mean, kids that don't need that much patience when you're working with them. I mean, they still. It's not fair that they don't get all of your patience. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody deserves equal patience, no matter what you're lacking.
I get with that. Like you're saying, like you've seen it because like like you practice patience because you've seen the negative effects of lack of patience.
Exactly.
And so being around such instances, which we have been around, it reinforce. Like if I don't, I've seen the extreme negative consequences of not being patient,
Exactly.
not sticking to my guns with behaviors.
Exactly.
All the terrible. We've seen
Organization.
We've seen so bad that like I would say to me, I'd be like, yo, I ain't letting this happen. I swear, like, no matter what, even if my children were special needs, I like feel like I've been equipped with the tools by living the experience to be like,
Right.
I don't want that for my children. Now, mind you, you can't control every variable, but I know now with some equipment, like,
Right.
well, we can have a chart and with a behavior chart, like, I know at least some tools to curve it. Like, it could be a lot worse, but now I feel equipped.
I think the most important thing that I learned working in that job was following through. Because if you don't follow through with the behavior, like the kid is gonna know, hey, I can do this, and I'll get exactly what I wanted. If you follow through with the plan, I mean, A, you need to have that plan.
Yeah, that's true.
B,
Yeah.
follow through with that plan, and that kid, it's a way better chance that they won't have that behavior that you're not looking for.
Do you ever find that you and Kelly have to have like, whoa, this is the plan. Like we're gonna stick to our guns. I told him no. If he acts up, he's gonna get no Nintendo Switch. But you gave him the Nintendo Switch. You undercut me. And I only say that because it just happened earlier today, where it didn't happen. Where I was like, yo, like she told me like, Miles was like, he's not getting no lollipop.
Right.
Because he's not eating his normal dinner. And then we said, yo, I looked at her, I was like, are we sticking to our guns on this one? Or is this one where we kind of wiggle? And Maggie was like, no, we sticking to our guns.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. But that was the communication. Like, we both had to be like on the same page. Have you ever found yourself doing that with Kelly?
Oh, yeah. Jax, he's gotten into, he thinks that every night we get a dessert. So, like, no matter what happens during the day, we get a dessert. As long as you eat your dinner, you get a dessert. But we come to an agreement that if his behavior is not at the level that we want it on, he doesn't get a dessert from mom. He doesn't get a dessert from dad. I mean, he's very smart, but
yes.
he wouldn't try to
he's picking up on it.
Yeah, he wouldn't try to like go to mom after asking dad, and dad said no.
Oh, he ain't doing the splitting yet.
Nah,
not yet. But you're right though. Even the point of patterns though, because now he's been accustomed to dessert, which is funny because my son's like a little bit of video games. Yeah. Because he's assumed every single night he gonna get video games.
Exactly.
Oh man. But I feel like that's the things that we worked. So let's fast forward, and I really wanted to dial on you as a father, is that you had a significant portion of Jax's life so far as a stay-at-home dad. Yeah. Can you explain the circumstances that led to that decision?
So my wife, she's a nurse. She does pediatric oncology, and she's a night shift nurse. And when we were living in LA, the price of childcare was crazy. So it really the amount of money that I was making in this field, I mean, they don't pay a lot for what you do. And for the amount of work that I was doing, it was pretty much paying for my son to go to daycare. We didn't have anything extra out of that. So it made way more sense for me, since, I mean, my wife is the breadwinner, and made more sense for me to stay home with Jax and teach him, get him ready for school. I mean, he started at a very early age in childcare. I mean, when we got to Baltimore 3 months, I was working. She was in school and working, so he was in daycare from like 7 and 8 in the morning till 5. So he ended up going to Montessori school when we got to LA, and he was there for like a year. But then brought him home, and yeah, that's that.
So what was some of the initial thoughts? Like, yo, we about to ramp up in this. I'm about to be a stay-at-home dad. Were you nervous?
I was kind of nervous about like how people would look at me. Like,
yes,
like I'm a guy, married guy that's not the breadwinner. Because it's usually the non-breadwinner that is the stay-at-home. Yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, I was thinking about how people would view me, but I mean, it got to the point where I just didn't care anymore. I
Yep.
knew what I was doing was the best thing for us. We
Yeah.
agreed that it was the best thing for us. What anybody else cares, like, it doesn't matter to us.
I mean, I was on a tipping point. Did I tell you this, right? Where you're saying breadwinner. Maggie makes more than me too, and there was a point where I wasn't fulfilled career wise. Like I wasn't fulfilled, and I played the numbers game. Like, well, I'm not fulfilled at work. Can we survive? And we had a real hard discussion. Like, should I stay at home and do it? And then I was like, I used you as my example. I was like, Jay does it, and I can do it too. Not to downgrade. I was like, I'm really involved and I can do it. But luckily, I say for me, I got a good job at Mason where I'm at now. But if I didn't get this job at Mason, I was this close because my attachment to my work was not my top priority.
Right.
My top priority was being a father, and I actually, quite honestly, and that's we're gonna talk about this. Quite honestly, when I was a father, I felt good, like I knew what I was doing. Did you feel like that way too? Like, okay, that's my top priority is Jax. Did you feel very comfortable? Did you feel confident in what you were doing?
Oh yeah, definitely, because Jax whenever he got sick when he was really young, it just so happened that like Kelly was working, and it was like it was a lot on me. So I learned quickly. I feel like I grew a lot closer to him because I was home with him a lot, even before I was a stay-at-home dad. So I think it was a way smoother transition, and the behavior field out there, it just got to the point where it was like your client will call out, and you don't have work. Like they didn't find you another client. It's like it's not worth it. Like I'm sitting around waiting. Maybe I might get work today when I could be 100% with my son, not worrying about anything else.
Now, besides the job, like I said, I got peers, but we're from a generation where that's not very typical. So, what was I guess, did you have any male guidance on or other peers out in California of other dads? Because I could see, like, for instance, I was already just kind of when I was that tipping point of doing it for myself. You know me, I gotta get out the house, bro. You know, like I can't do it. But then I look, I'm like, where am I gonna go out the house? All the groups to join are like I'm gonna take them to a spin class. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the groups are mom groups.
That's exactly.
Where am I gonna go?
Mommy and me.
I would look random as hell in some craft class, some random black dude with a little mixed boy in the class. So where was your community? Where'd you get that community, or did you?
I mean, our community was my wife's friends, like her good friends that she stuck to from high school, because we were living like when we were out in LA, we were like never more than like 30 minutes from her where she grew up, and we became really good friends with one of her good friends, Rudy. This kid, he has a son that's a little bit younger than Jax, a few months younger than Jax, but like we were always hanging out once they were, you know what I'm saying? Always, they were in the same boat as us, and like great people.
So was one of them a stay-at-home parent?
Actually, his wife was she was a interior designer, and she stopped to be a stay-at-home. I think she may even be making more than her husband. I'm not sure.
So I'm saying, with that being said, did you have a community? Like, for me, like I would say, and just being honest, I mean, I say I could do it. I definitely believe in my skills as a dad. I definitely believe in my skills with Bennett.
Yeah.
But also, I think on the caveat, the pros and cons, being involved with my son and all that, I think one of the main things that I got from the world of work was adult connection and just people to be around. Like, I really love just being around the campus and being around people and stuff like that. So one of my wife Maggie said, she's like, I know you got the ability. I know you got the ability to be a good stay-at-home dad. But she's like, I know you would go crazy because you like to have friends. You see me, I like to have friends and go out. And so, I mean, I guess over time I'll probably just get over it and join the mom groups and stuff and just be the random guy. But did you have a community?
I don't think I didn't really. I mean, I talked to you because...
Yes, no.
I would we talked about kids because you were at points you were nervous because you weren't sure if you were going to be a great dad, and I was reassuring you that you were going to be a great dad. And I mean, I would say that's the closest community that I had. I mean, you and then my wife's friends, because I really didn't have like friends out there, because as far as work went, it was like I'm a male in a female dominated field.
So even at work too.
Yeah, I'm in the field. You know what I mean? So it's like,
I mean, even the field that you're in was very female dominated.
exactly, like,
And so it was like either way, either if I stayed at home or I went to work, I was around a lot of females.
exactly.
And so, what do you think is a lot of communities that you think for men? I think that's what really comes up to a lot of it. A lot of my discussions too is like, you know, where are the communities for men? Like communities like that.
Right.
And I guess it's certain. I guess it's by your work industry. But for instance, for me, I don't see myself in a work community that's not education. That's where my skills are.
Yeah.
So it just happens by happenstance that my skill is in a very female-dominated industry, or maybe even to take it further, a very white female-dominated industry, right? Higher ed. If you look at higher ed, most of the people on staff, maybe the professors, and it's split. It's weird. It's like pockets of males, but I'm in student services, which is like not really the professors. It's more like the, you know, the career centers and the diversity office and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You go down their roster, it's mostly female, I would say. So either way, if I stayed at home or if I didn't, I was going to be a minority.
Yeah.
Like a gender minority.
Exactly.
and a black minority.
Exact same thing, bro.
Yeah, so with that being said, with those communities, did you find yourself yearning or thinking about what systemically or society can do to help the stay-at-home dads? Like, or what would help? Like in your situation, man. Like, this is tough. If I ruled the world and snapped my fingers, I would change this. I would change this aspect about stay-at-home dad stuff.
I would. I mean, I just changed people's opinions of. It's just like a. I don't know. It's like a stigma.
Yes.
Of being a male, stay at home. Yeah, I would definitely change that, because it's not hard. It's not a hard job.
We're talking about kids.
Yeah, that's why I'm very good with kids. Like,
You know what I'm saying? You're exceptionally good with kids.
I'll randomly meet kids, new kids through family, and they'll just come up to me and latch onto me and start talking to me, hanging out, and they won't even talk to their own family. But it's like, I find it so easy to talk to kids and just hang out with them, and that's what I do all day at work. So it's like, it's easy.
No, and I mean, I don't want to downgrade it, but that's why I was wanting to talk about it, because you are exceptionally well with just kids. Like, I even noticed at the job, I was like, Jay was doing it. Like, you're good with kids. You're good with your own kids. And I don't know I would like to believe that I'm good with kids. But like I said, I look to you as a role model. Like, you're patient and all that stuff. I was like, and I definitely have caught myself saying things like, man, it just sounds easy, man. I can do this. And then on the flip side, I realized it's not easy for a lot of fathers,
Right.
or not easy for a lot of parents. Do you think it's naturally easy for certain people or not? It doesn't, and no shade to them as adults. Like, it's just not a skill. Like, it just doesn't come natural to you.
I think it's both ways. I think on one hand, you can have parents that aren't necessarily ready to have kids, to be parents. But also there's kids that they're just different. Like, some kids are way easier than other kids. Yeah. So, I mean, we've been blessed. Jax is so easy. Like, I mean, I think we probably had problems with him sleeping initially, but outside of that, like, this has been a very easy kid to raise.
His temperament's raised.
But like,
well, okay, mine aren't. But hey, prayers for Maggie. # nothing's wrong. She just dealing with me too. And you said first impression, right? First impression, all over the place. I got 2 of them. I got clones. You know? I was just thinking the other day when Jackson, like, Bennett was like, all of Jackson's like, yo, chill. Bennett was like, it's like a direct reflection of, was like, what you were like.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I know, I noticed you when we were hanging out yesterday with the boys. You kept on being like, oh, that's crazy, like, watching them too. It's like us.
Yeah. You said he was dancing for no reason. Like,
yeah.
Jackson was chilling.
I know. Yeah, I don't think I've ever caught you dancing for no reason, but
No, I'm just being extra for no reason.
yeah.
I think I created a monster with the dancing part because you saw me. I was like, ooh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, the hype man. If you have a hype man, you're guaranteed to at least attempt to dance for 30 seconds more.
I see. I either say ooh, 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 or aye when he's dancing. So it's natural. It comes natural to you. Yeah. Have you ever gotten some negative either comments or things out in public that rubbed you the wrong way from people when they were just with you and your son out in public? I'll tell you one. I'll tell you one I experienced, but I want you to think of one first.
I mean, mostly it was. I correct people all the time. They're like, "Oh, such a beautiful little girl." Like, he's a boy.
But that was your main example?
That's the most as far as it's really gone. I mean,
I was gonna say mine was like how sometimes people treat me like I'm a babysitter. Like, oh, good job, Dad. But it's like a condescending tone, like I'm not supposed to do this stuff. Like, right. Oh, the wife, like the wife is so primary that if I'm out and about, that it's like babysitting rather than it's like I'm good at this.
Right.
This is, or I also gotten like, is that your son? And I'm like wearing them. I'm like, yeah, yes, just because he's super light skinned.
Right.
Like I was wearing Bennett one time, like wearing them, and the woman was like, "Yo, is that your son?" And I looked down. I said, "Yes." I was trying to think like maybe she thought I was a caregiver.
Like, wait, is this the right kid?
Or like I was trying to understand the concept, and I went one way. I went racially. It was like maybe because he's so light, she thought so, or maybe I just went one way that was just like so odd to see a dad just so cheery wearing a kid.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it wasn't normal because I used to. I mean, the thing before they got heavier, I used to love wearing my kids. I mean, because also I can get things done with my hands.
Nah, I sweat too much for it. Like, we'll just be him sweaty and me sweaty.
No, I was crushing it. Like, I'd get out the house and I'd walk like 6 miles.
Oh.
I don't know, it's also just, because it was a way for me to like get out the house for Maggie.
Right.
So I'd put in my headphones. Bennett would pass out, take real naps. I walk for an hour, just walk around the neighborhood, listening to Future. And everyone's like waving at white neighbors, and they thought I was listening to, like, they had no idea what I was talking about. Selling bricks and stuff like that. I was wearing my kid. I was so happy.
That's hilarious.
I loved it. It was like my time. So yeah, you didn't get that though. You didn't get that kind of feedback. Was it? You think it's because it was California?
I mean, possibly, but at the same time, my mother-in-law has actually caught in some really weird looks when she would have him without us.
She did
in the picture. So like he would sometimes, like, there was a point where he went and stayed with her in Hawaii for a while, for like a couple of weeks. He's out and about with her, but like she would tell us like some random people were like looking at her funny, like, why is he with you? That type of look.
Maybe he thought he was adopted or something. I don't know. I mean, I'm very curious. I'm gonna ask Joan if she gets those kind of looks, but I don't know. Maybe I don't think she does. You know, when she has the boys by herself, I don't think she gets those kind of looks. And also, but to be honest with you, like I said, I don't think that instance of good job, you got it, happens to Maggie. Like, you know how many times, I guess because I look like I'm struggling so much with the 2 boys or trying to get them to eat an IHOP, people randomly come up to me like, you got it, Dad. Oh, you're doing a good job. And Maggie's like, yo, I swear to God, I hate everyone. Because they see me struggling, they don't say nothing to the moms.
Right.
So I don't know, I take that, I mean, it's a compliment in a weird way. I take it some type of way too. Like, I take it more like, I don't take it as a compliment as much anymore. I take it more like they think I'm not competent, you know, like they feel sorry for me.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, or Dad's not supposed to do this. I don't know. In a deeper sense.
Yeah, I've never really thought about it like that, but I mean, I feel like we're definitely a long way from how it used to be for dads. I feel like it's norm. It's becoming the norm to see a dad doing dad things, and it's terrible that there was a point where dads didn't do dad things.
Well, I mean, literally, there was an article. It was so timely. An article came out and they said that they did a survey and they said dads nowadays are 3 times more involved with their kids than another generation.
Yeah.
But that was like, what are you talking about? Like, so I don't know. But I think from my peer group, I am very fortunate to see a lot of peers, especially you, Hillard, Larry, Charles, where I just see these dads doing stuff by themselves all the time. and I met a few. Now I feel like they're more like they're odd. Where I was like, one guy was like, "This is my first time alone overnight with the kids." I was like, "How old are they?" 4. I was like, "You got to 4?"
Exactly. Like that's odd.
You think that's odd? Like, when was the first time you was alone with Jax overnight? I remember mine.
Let's see. I don't remember, bro.
Mine was really early. It was like a year and some change, and I was super nervous. And I had my aunt from Winchester come, and she stayed the night with me. And then as it broke the ice, I think it broke the ice. And then, yeah, I've done it, a few, obviously a few, but definitely more times.
Yeah.
The whole bedtime routine and all that, waking up early. But, I've met some exceptional parents where the dad didn't change a diaper for the first year. Like, how'd you get to the first year without changing a diaper? I don't know.
That's wild.
But it was like, I don't do that. I was like, wow, that's crazy. So, I mean, but now that's, like you said, it's becoming the opposite. Right?
Yeah.
Like, if you met someone that said, I have not spent the night with my child by myself, like, because my wife was on a work trip or something, so the kid was 7, you'd think they were a weirdo.
Exactly. That's bad. That's terrible.
Yo, what things come in your mind if you heard that?
Like, I mean, is that neglect?
No, I mean, no, it's not.
What do you mean?
No, because the mom's there. I mean, I think it's.
But I mean, you're neglecting your ability. I mean, your job as a father. Like,
I find there's 2 things. I find it could be neglect as a father if you choose it as an option.
Yeah.
And then I feel like it's a lack of trust or anxious or anxiety if a mom won't let you do it.
Oh, agreed.
So it depends on the situation. Like,
yeah.
If the dad's like, "Yo, I didn't do this in 7 years, but I'm good. I didn't want to," it's the dad. If it's like, my wife just won't go out of town with her girls or do a girls' night, then I think it's like, yo, you need to like show your wife that you can do this, yo.
Right.
Like, let her go out for a day or like a day trip, maybe not overnight, and show your. It sucks to say that, but prove that you can do it.
Exactly.
I didn't have to really do that. I think I think Maggie knew. I believe, and we had this discussion that when I was going to be a father, I think Maggie already believed in me. She was like, the type of person you are, how nice you are, and all that stuff, and that definitely the experience at APTS. She's like, you'll figure it out. She told me that, and I was like, all right, I got some confidence off of that.
Yeah.
Did Kelly kind of give you that confidence too before Jax came around?
Yeah, she definitely did. She knew that I had a lot of skills just from what I've been doing from work. Mm-hmm. She knew. I mean, Kelly liked me from she liked me before I liked her. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
In college, and it was a while before we were actually together. But like, she knew, like in her heart, like she was telling all of her friends, she was like, "We're gonna get married," and that's what ended up happening. But like, so I feel like she had that trust in me a long time ago. Like, she saw how I was with my friends,
Oh, I like that. Okay, let's go deeper in that. What do you think she saw? Let's say, what do you think she saw in you, and not say about a partner-wise?
Yeah.
What do you think qualities she saw in you that you think she knew you would be a good dad?
The way that I treat my friends.
Mm-hmm.
My friends, my family.
Mm-hmm.
I was very close to a group of friends in college,
mm-hmm.
like very tight knit, and to this day we're still a very tight knit group of people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, I mean, she was part of that group, but like
mm-hmm.
she was a year older than us, so like
mm-hmm.
she was there, but like we called ourselves the bowling group. It was like 5 or 6 of, I don't know
mm-hmm.
exactly how many of us it was, but we called ourselves the bowling group because a couple of them from what's this area in Massachusetts? This area in Massachusetts where they have bowling groups, actual legit bowling groups, but the girl said that her aunt is in a bowling group and all they do is drink. They don't even bowl.
It's a social group, but they stay bonded.
Right.
Yeah, I like that.
So we just made up this group name, but like we travel together, do a whole bunch of stuff together. But like Kelly was there, but like she was one of us, but kind of not really one of us, and she saw the way that bond that we had,
bowling group,
and the way we treat each other. Yeah. So.
And she was like the friendship qualities would translate to fatherhood.
Yeah.
But you did. Like, I feel like I think that believes the same way too with me. Like, I think Maggie's like, you really care about your friends and all yada yada, stay connected and relationship building and all that stuff. What has since fatherhood, what has been something that really surprised you about yourself being a dad that you were like, whoa, I didn't think that this is how I'd be as a dad, or whether it's negative or positive, like it surprised you, like I'll say in the moment, like wow, you blink and I was like, this is how I act now as a dad. It changed me or whatever. What do you think? What surprised you so far being a father?
I don't know.
More strict, less strict, more emotional, less emotional, more nurturing. What surprised you? Any of those things?
I feel like definitely more nurturing than I thought I would be. With a little boy.
Yes.
I thought when I had a boy, I could still be like tough with him all the time, but I've realized that like he's a little boy, like he's still learning his emotions and everything, so like you can't like.
Yeah. That's I was about to say the same thing. I ain't gonna lie. I think I've cried. I've been more cryy now, and not in front of him obviously, but like now, if I watch a sad scene with like a father-son scene, I'm like, ugh. I'm like, dog, that joint already hits me. I can't even watch certain movies now because like I feel like now I got this weird level of empathy for father characters, like Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah.
I don't like that joint hurt me now. I'm like, I can still laugh at it. Like it's still funny because his hairline was crazy.
Yeah. Mustache.
And all the memes that say please help.
Yes.
But in a sense though, the opposite, like that man was sleeping in the bathroom.
Exactly.
And that like I felt that. I was like, yo, would I do that? Hell yeah. Like
yeah.
I definitely like no joke. I knowing me, I would do some random stuff. Make sure my kids is all right. We'd be eating bologna sandwiches every day.
Yeah.
Eating, but like that's what surprised me more is that emotional connection, like that. Yeah, you're right too. Like huggy and kissy,
right,
and cuddly. I am doing that with my boys as much as I thought if I had a little girl.
Yeah.
And I think that I don't know subconsciously, I don't believe our generation above us did that. So I don't know in my mind I'm more nurturing, huggy because maybe subconsciously I wanted that more, or just because it feels more natural to me. I don't know. I don't know if it's just who I am, or is it a product of maybe like something I wanted.
Right.
Like hugginess and all that. Because I definitely don't remember myself doing as much like that with my dad.
Yeah, me either. Like, I mean, I don't remember that with my mom either, but I know that did happen with my mom. I know her.
Yeah, true.
I can remember being older. I mean, how she to this day she is like very nurturing, very very huggy. Yeah, all of that. But like.
You don't remember it?
I don't remember that as a young child.
Mm-hmm. You think Jackson, like that's curious. That's interesting because I don't remember that either. But it may have happened, may not. I don't know. Subconscious. Do you think that us being all that huggy now, you think our kids are going to remember this, or maybe we just these early years you don't really remember that. I mean, you remember nurturing, but you don't remember it that firm.
Right. I don't know. I mean, I know Jax. He has a really good memory. Yeah. Like he'll tell us, like, "Oh yeah, we." Remember, what was he telling us?
He said, "Yeah, I already met Bennett before." Or he was like, "Remember when we were all little and we met Larry's kids at the park?"
Yeah, at the party.
The party. I was like, "What?"
He couldn't. He was barely even walk. I don't even know if he could walk.
Then he remembered the other party here too. He remembered that one too. And Bennett's like that too. Bennett remembers the most random stuff, his memories. I don't know if that's another thing too, because I don't know how my memory is with that stuff, but I definitely know, I feel in my heart, I'm very, very sure that I'm way more huggy and kissy and cuddly than my parents were. Now, the opposite can be said for Maggie. I know probably the same level. I don't know. I mean, from what I can see on the surface and see how old home videos, there were definitely two girls and Jeff and Joan definitely huggy and all that, but I don't know if that was a male thing. I'm not sure. Have you thought about that experience? Have you ever had that conversation with Kevin? And how about this question? Like, no shade to Kevin, but do you see your differing parenting styles than him or your other brother, Daryl? Do you see differing parenting styles that y'all have so far?
Not really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and at the same time, I'm only seeing their parenting style when I'm visiting in town.
Yeah, the little stick bits, yeah.
Because, I mean, they're parenting in Virginia, Maryland,
yeah.
wherever, and I'm over in California.
Do you think from the surface, let's say the stick bits, like, you're right, like, you're getting a small glimpse of window. You think they're huggy too?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
My older brother, Daryl, he has a little boy and a girl.
Mm-hmm.
His daughter is the oldest of our kids.
Mm-hmm.
And he's definitely, real early, he had to be do the girly stuff, you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And then Kevin had kids before I did, both of his kids before I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, he's definitely, he's huggy with his kids.
You say a little bit more though, you think? It's like different levels.
Yeah.
I believe in my heart that if my sister had kids, she'd be a great mom. So that's there.
Yeah.
But I believe I'm more huggy than her too. I don't know. I just feel like I am.
And I've noticed like.
And that kind of goes the opposite of the gender roles. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm more.
I feel like I hug a lot more people now.
Yes.
That I have a son. Like I hug my wife's uncles, her dad, random people. Like I don't remember growing up hugging uncles and hugging.
No, I
anybody.
don't. I didn't. No, actually, I don't think it was kids. I think obviously it was Maggie's parents. I just think it was so odd that when I used to leave her house, they'd be like, "All right, see you later. We're just going to the movies," and they would hug. I'm like, "Yo, why y'all hugging? We're about to see you after the movie."
Right.
But it's all different styles of parenting. So, Jax is biracial. Duh.
Yeah.
Surprised if you didn't know, listeners, there's no video. We're both black men. My son is black as biracial. With that being said, I just said black. Do you call yourselves kids black?
I do.
I believe it.
I do. And so he's going to school in this area that is pretty much people that work at Apple, people that work at
that's right, Cali,
eBay, people that work at all these tech companies. And the people at the top, these are people that are at the top because these people that feed into the school are rich people for the most part, and they are not black. They're Asian. There are all types of people from Asia. There are people from all over the world, but there's no Jax. There's a little black girl that came into his class before the break, but that's the only other black kid I've seen at his whole school.
So it's the not opposite, but we have a little bit more black kids. But with that being said, we can either put them in a pocket and say person of color or black, and I go with the black box. And the reason, or in my mind, I do. I mean, we don't have the form check. And the only reason why I say this is that Barack Obama, white mom, black dad, he's black, first black president. J. Cole, white mom, black dad, he considers himself a black rapper. I just identify with my son beyond being a person of color. He is going to be viewed as a black male,
right,
by society and such. And so we've had this discussion. Sometimes I believe Maggie may say person of color, but at no point does she negate that he's a minority of some sort.
Right.
But I don't know. The reason why I want him to be firm and not saying he has to say he's black, but just firm in that part of him is because of a societal preparedness, right? Like if he went through the world saying, I can not feel this way, I'd be worried. Because I feel like at some point society's going to check his ass,
right?
And I have not say anxiety about it, but I know that similar to that, whether in the classroom, a teacher, or the police officer, or I don't know, just some kind of system is going to view him as a person of color. So I just kind of make sure that he knows that. That's my mindset.
It kind of made me think of what was that? Was it Boys in the Hood? when Trey,
Yeah.
I guess he was messing up. He was a knucklehead and had
Yes.
to go live with his dad.
Yes.
And everything was supposed to be going smooth and stuff. But then I think they got pulled over by the cops.
Yes.
And it was like,
Yes.
you might be dressed up nice in a nice car.
Yes.
End of the day, you're still a black dude.
Yes.
And this is what's going to happen to you because this was happening to everybody else. So, like, yes, life smacked him in the face right then and there. But, like, that's
So, I mean, and
how it could happen.
And I know outside the walls of our home is supposed to be the safe base. And so I wanted to be safe base, but also I wanted to be prepared because, you know, I just don't want them to go out in the world ill-equipped.
Right.
And ill-equipped with whatever tools. So some of the tools is emotional intelligence. Some of the tools is resilience. Some of the tools is learn how to work on conflict. Remember, we see the boys, they coming over to us, and I'm like, yo, don't come to me. Work that junk out with you.
Right.
Work it out with him.
Talk it out.
Work it out, and prepare them with tools because at the end of the day, if he out of school, he can't say, "Mommy, Daddy, we're not there."
Right.
So you need to learn some of these tools to go out there. And I think one of the things in that toolkit is racial identity and assuredness in who you are in the system, so you be prepared for things like that. Have you had those kind of conversations with Kelly about what are we identifying or affirm with Jax?
Nah, we've never had that conversation.
I told Maggie flat out he's black, but I said that like randomly. I was like, we're gonna check the black box.
Yeah.
And then I just literally said the same thing I just said to you, like, look at Barack Obama. I think that's my only case.
Right.
Because, you know, first black president, do we not realize his mom is white, right?
Yeah.
But what does everyone say? Where's my mom? I got all the you see my mom's house. She got more pictures of black President Obama than me.
Right. Yep.
So I think those, but beyond the race one, what are some other tools that you wonder when you look out in the world that's beyond race and not bring it back? What are some other tools that you be trying to like really equip Jax with, based on your experiences with work and going to school and football and all that, like things like, because of my experiences, I want to make sure that Jax is prepared for X, Y, and Z.
I definitely want him to. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I want for him.
Mm-hmm.
One of them I know I want for him is when he goes to college. I definitely want him to go to college, but I want him to know what he wants to do. Whether he's playing sports in college or not, I want him to know, because I got to school and I didn't know what I wanted to do. And you just have people, when you're playing sports especially, you got other people thinking for you. So I actually had people that were like legit telling me what the easier classes were based on what other past athletes have taken and things like that. And I feel like I got to that point. I'm in the middle of college. Like, what am I going to do with my life? What kind of career am I going to do? And I'm sitting there not knowing, because I chose this major based off of how easy it's going to be.
Which one, the comm?
I was a comm major. And the stereotype is true. It is. I mean, and you go to...
Well, not all schools. I'd say, and the reason why I say that, because I work with the comm majors.
Yeah.
It depends on which, if it's like journalism in comm or if journalism is pulled into it. Depends on if it's pulled into it. And I think the caveat is it's easy or not depending on what you do with it. So like, if let's say you're a comm major and you're a journalism, but that's it. You're a comm major in journalism, and then that's it. You went to class. Then yeah, it's probably going to be easier. But let's say you're a comm major in journalism, but you actually do something like write for the school paper or do internships and do all that. You're going to set yourself. I mean, that's a decent job. It's a really good career. Writing, there's skills in writing, messaging, and all that stuff. Or I work with the ones that do comm majors, but they're public relations. Okay, if you just do that on the surface, whatever. But did you actually do social media and actually, when I say social media, like real ones with their campaigns and analytics and all those numbers, and I know if I do this message at noon, it's going to hit. Like, you know, they break it down, but they don't just break it down in the classroom. They actually did it at an internship.
Right.
But the part for an athlete that's difficult is how you going to do an internship if they got you trained all summer?
Exactly.
Or how you going to get that out of classroom? You can't write for the school paper because you got to play football.
Exactly.
So I think certain majors may be easier or not, but I think I totally agree with the mindset that higher ed could be a scam if you only go to class. You can't go to college and only go to class. You got to go to college and do other things.
Right.
that are career related. You know what I'm saying? Career building and skill. And additionally, like you said, you got to do these things outside the classroom, not because you were told to. You seek it yourself. Like you look for the internship. You didn't like tell you to that. You didn't wait for someone to say, "Yo, take this class, take this." You're like, "Yo, how do I do this?" And use a little bit of assertiveness, and you found internships and stuff like. Well, you found it with help maybe for the career center and stuff like that. But like, yeah, I do agree with you. Like, if you're very passive about higher ed and just get there and you don't know what you're really doing, really don't have no guidance, it's a setup. If you have a little bit of guidance, which, you know, I think a lot of parents now know, like, okay, did you think about this? Did you go to the career center? Did you like join a club or something? Like, more parents are pushing their kids to do things other than just the classes.
Yeah.
Because they know more too, resources.
I found that like the general population at school, it makes sense that, you know how they say like, oh, you don't have to know what you want to major in when you first get to school. You'll learn in the first couple of years. Like they have that time. They have free time to think about what they want to do. But me, I go to class, I go back to football, and go back to football, and then go to sleep. So it's like, I don't have that time to figure out what I want to do. Yeah. And I think I definitely want Jackson to know what he wants to do before he gets there.
So how are you going to do that now? I mean, how can a parent... I love that question. I love that thought process. What can a parent do to think about that? Like, even with little kids, what can you do?
Just check them up on all the time. Like, we ask Jackson all the time, what do you want to be? Mm-hmm. Like, we'll ask him 2 weeks after the last time we asked him. He'll tell us something different. We're like, oh, what happened to this? He'll tell us, like, a legit reason why he doesn't want to do that job.
Okay, beyond the job, and is there any other things that you do? Do you dive deep? Do you look it up on YouTube and see what they do? Do you look at some funny videos, like kid level stuff? Like, for instance, Bennett will say, "I'm a firefighter." Mm-hmm. So what can we do for the little kid? Not like nerd out. Go to the fire station. Look at the truck.
Right.
Touch the truck and get on it. You know. Like,
right.
We're not gonna tell you like you're really gonna save people's lives and all that, but like they know what it looked like. You know.
Exactly.
Like, you know. Oh, I want to be a doctor. Okay. You know. Look at this, you know, not the surgery stuff, but like this the hospital. And I mean, I think little kids can be exposed to different jobs.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, here's a policeman. He got the gun and the badge. Like you tell, like, you know, Bennett knows what my job is now. Mm-hmm. He was like, "Daddy, work at a college. You don't know what I do."
Right.
He has no clue what my office. You don't know that I'm answering emails, but I've taken him on. He's seen my office. He's walked around the campus. Mm-hmm. He really wants to just go to campus and see robots. We have food delivery robots, but like he knows what I do. I think he definitely doesn't know Maggie's a school social worker, but he knows she works at a school. Mm-hmm. So you work at the college, mommy works at a school. Does Jax know that mommy works at the hospital?
He knows she works at the hospital. He knows I work at the school. Okay. So he actually had a couple of weeks back, I actually had to work, but each of the kids has a week that they're star of the week, and they have like a presentation, a little short presentation. And Kelly was there, and the kids were like, oh, he's like, here's my mom, and we brought her grandmother, because I couldn't be there, so we just brought another family member. And all of the kids were like, oh, where's your dad? How come your dad's not here? He's like, oh, my dad had to work at another school. It's like he went to another school and not this school, not your school. Like, the little kids didn't understand it, but like he understood it.
Yeah, good, yeah. That's great. And that you believe that is what is going to be that part about preparedness of seeing different careers and career options. And then by the time you get to high school, you know, that's when you kind of ramp it up and say like, yo, you're a freshman, even in high school. Not like you have to pick your life, but like, what do you like to do? Right. At least that part. Like, do you like music? Do you like this? What skills do you think a musician needs? And let's work on it. Do you like your laptop? Do you know how to make beats? And like or do you like to be in sports? Do you want to be a sports writer? Do you know how to write? At least like let's watch this game together, and you write me a little paragraph of what you watched and what you like about it. And like I like LeBron James. Why? Write a little paragraph.
Right.
Tell me why you like him. And that's just kind of like force him to learn about writing about sports. Right. Well, I like that he rebounds. Like just on a notebook paper, I like he rebounds. Good enough for me. Mm-hmm. You're practicing sports writing. You know what I'm saying? Then I just gave myself an activity. I'm going to ask him if he likes something, what he does. We're going to try to find a little kid-friendly activity to relate to that. Mm-hmm. Oh man, we were going on. So we're gonna stay an hour. I think you're an amazing dad. Obviously, we can talk for 2 hours, but we got other things. But this is the part of the show called Shot for Shot. I don't know if you listen, but Shot for Shot means you get to ask me any random question you want. I get to ask you any random question I want, and you answer. It's kind of like Truth or Dare, but no dare because
Gotcha.
that's kind of weird. We're in a basement. All right, so you want to go first? I go first.
You can go first. I see what I'm working with.
All right. So, it is pretty. Now it just popped in my head. East Coast life, West Coast life. Cali, whatever, whole up and down the West Coast, whatever. What are the differences between East Coast life that you notice in East and West Coast life, and which one do you prefer?
Whew. I think East Coasters have a drive, a lot more drive than West Coasters. I mean, it kind of goes with the stereotype. West Coasters are all hippies, kind of live on the beach all day and get by.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the East Coasters they would rather get something done by running around on their feet all day. A West Coaster will figure out how to do it without having to do all of that work.
So it's efficiency.
So I think it is. It's efficiency.
Because I'll go along with the lines that, there's super. You just said it. You're in Cali with the most brilliant people, and computers and stuff. That has nothing to do with the work ethic. They're smart. They're making gajillion dollars, but they're on the West Coast, so they obviously found something good. I don't know if they work harder or not, but they're making mad money on the West Coast.
Right. I don't want to go and say like somebody works harder than the next, but I feel like people work differently.
Yes, differently. I like that.
And
work culture. You think work culture is different?
Yes.
Definitely. How about even this is West Coast West. What have you noticed even in the school systems for West Coast schools and East Coast schools based on your experience?
A lot more. They ask for a ton of money on the West Coast, bro. Even public schools, they ask for a ton of money, and I can't remember. Like growing up in the East Coast, I don't remember them asking for money for the field trip. For the field trip itself, like you might have had money to buy something in the gift shop when you went to the museum, but no, these people are asking for money for field trips, money for class parties, money for the teachers' gifts, all of this stuff, and it's crazy. I'm beginning to ask myself, are we in a private school? That type. I just don't remember like the money. Like money is what I'm not. That could be the times.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and that second part, which one do you prefer more, based on environment, vibe, hustle and bustle? Which one have you enjoyed more? I
enjoy the laid back lifestyle of the West Coast.
Okay.
I think that's always been me.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that. I think Kelly. She's a West Coaster, but like with East Coast mentality. She will like really want to get something done, like run around all day to get it done.
Yeah.
Not to say that she wouldn't try to figure out how to do it more efficiently.
Yeah, but her mindset is East Coast.
Yeah.
You think that does my random questions turn like to 20 questions. Do you think that her East Coast mindset has set her apart professionally and made her more assertive in a career?
Oh, definitely. I think that she's bumped heads with supervisors just because like she knows what she wants to get done. Like if something is wrong, she's gonna fix it no matter like how many hurdles she has to jump over to fix it. And I think that kind of like brush people the wrong way.
But that would probably be met with less opposition on the East Coast because that's where we all
exactly. It's like, oh yeah, she's just working. She's
working. Yeah, she's trying to get the
hard.
answers. Yeah,
exactly.
Oh wow, interesting. I thought about that too. I wonder if I would be super assertive on the West Coast. All right, your question for me. That's a good one. I said that was a good one because I asked the question.
If you could take your family to live anywhere, an agreed thing with you and Maggie, where would you guys live outside of Virginia?
Austin, Texas.
Is that where you would go?
I don't know. I just got off my leg.
It had to be an agreement, remember, between you and Maggie.
Okay, see, that's the hardest part because the part of the agreement, the reason why we're so firm here is, the base and our family, our friends, we grew up here. So the agreement part would be that's the caveat, right? So I think that was a barrier for all of it. I don't know how much money I had to make or how much, who's already there. But what I would say, though, to curve the money aspect, the family aspect, it had to have a very progressive, open, friendly vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Austin, Texas is one of them, but it would have to be like somewhere like Seattle or Denver, like cities that me and Maggie have both been to, where it's a nice vibe where people are very friendly, but they also have real jobs, and it was very similar to what you thought. Like, I went to Denver one time, and people had professional jobs, doctors, lawyers, whatever, but it was just so relaxed. Like, even the doctors and lawyers weren't wearing full suits.
Yeah.
They were wearing like business casual, maybe like a button-up shirt and some khakis. So it was like they had an acknowledgement that you can get work done, but it had to be so rigid.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I think that was very noticeable to me and Maggie in Denver. I was like, wow, Denver's got a cool vibe.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely would not be hustle and bustle New York. It probably would not be hustle and bustle Atlanta and huge cities with, traffic and all that stuff. It had to be like, if it was going to be another city beyond Northern Virginia, because I know Northern Virginia got a lot of hustle and bustle, it had to be like a chill place. And I see like Charlotte's pretty chill, and Denver, Austin. We have yet to visit Portland, Oregon, but I heard nothing but chill things about that place. I've been yet to visit Seattle, but I want to. Have you been to Seattle yet? I heard it's pretty chill.
Seattle, yeah. My wife, she has family in Seattle and Portland.
Yeah. What's not going to be on the list is Boise, Idaho.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know whose list that's on, but
I don't know who's...
Shout out Hill.
and Anchorage, Alaska. I mean, that's not on the list.
Definitely not.
I wonder.
Hey,
I want to ask Hillary another time.
It.
I want to ask Hillary another time if he could take a choice. Would he take Anchorage, Alaska?
Right. Would you rather?
Well, okay. Here's the last one. Would you rather Des Moines, Iowa, or Boise, Idaho? I don't even know anything about Des Moines, but I just know a lot of. Every time they do the big political stuff, that's a big city, and they got a huge bike race where they do the bike across the whole state.
That's good enough. All right, I'm still there.
I just sold Iowa over Idaho.
Over Idaho.
All right, this has been a pleasure. I finally got you on the podcast. We're gonna wrap it up. So for the listeners, the stage is yours. Shout outs, whoever you want to give some love to, shout them out, and plugs if you're comfortable, where the listeners can find you, if you want to reach out to the listeners.
Shout out to my wife Kelly. She holds it down for real. Shout out to my family.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're going through some tough times recently, but our family's sticking together and we're gonna get through it. Outside of that, you can find me on Instagram if you like. I'm a little bit private. I don't want everybody in there, but I'm Papa Bell 58. Yeah.
That's it.
Great.
And he's saying you won't find me, but I'll find you.
There we go. There we go.
Yo, so this has been this has been a great episode. If you're interested, please follow up with us, or we're going to do another episode either remotely, because I think that a lot of other fathers can learn a lot from you. If you have any questions for the podcast, leave a message at Positive Filter on across every platform, or call the hotline 571-336-6560, 571-336-6560. That's the podcast hotline, or any other platform. Justin is doing big things. All my friends, I'm so proud of them. And we're out. Thank you for listening to Positive Filter, a podcast that focuses on family, friends, career, with a little self-help along the way. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with your family and friends, and like the Facebook page, Spreading Positivity of Movement. Thanks for listening.